How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop, and you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I'm your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois, joined by, well, he was late this week. You wouldn't know that, but, because I'm an asshole, I just, pull back the curtain.
How was I late? Why does that even make sense?
I mean, you were late for the pre-show.
What? There's a pre-show? I didn't know that. No one even invited me.
It's not live, but I mean, it's our little team meeting before we start.
So there's never been a pre-show ever. People, there's no such thing. He's flat out lying.
I just want to bust your balls. What's going on, champ?
Oh, don't say that. I'm the other champ.
Also joining us is the third member of the team. He is the man with the name of the marquee. He is number 7 on the program, number 1 in your hearts, the sexiest man in the world, Johnny Petraglia Jr. Good evening, JP.
What's up, everybody? Always a pleasure to be here. Especially pumped up for tonight's show. That is for damn sure.
Wicked pumped.
As you can all see, I am still obviously not the best lefty on the show because Rob's still here. But now I'm officially third on today's show for the hit list of awesome lefties. And would you like to do the introduction, or would you like me to introduce?
I bowled lefty once, so maybe you're the fourth best. Actually, I'm just kidding.
There we go.
Either
way,
it's your show.
And your prediction.
You predicted the winner, and he's also your very good friend, so you can do the honors.
All right. Well, I will start out by tooting my own horn and saying it's a shame that I was a week late in my projection of the winner. If you guys remember the show a few weeks back, after day 1 of qualifying at the Masters, I projected this guy to win the Masters. And who knows, had that messenger hit the 7th pin instead of gone in front of it, maybe he's bowling John Janowitz for the title. But a superb third-place finish in his first PBA senior event of the season, and then follows it up week 2, your champion of the Senior U.S. Open, the newest member of the PBA Major Champions Club, and newest national PBA title holder. Please welcome Troy Lint, PBA Senior U.S. Open champion.
Good evening, Troy. How are you, sir? Thank you for being here.
Good evening, boys. Thank you for inviting me.
So we were talking a little bit off air. Ocho missed it, so we'll fill him in on what happened. You had a very long drive back from your win. How long was the drive back to Pennsylvania?
23 hours, 23 and a half hours. That's a long drive.
That's a long drive.
How many high fives did you give along the way, man? Your arms are tired. Shit.
Speaking of that, I mean, obviously, first, obvious congratulations are in order, Troy. I personally will tell you that I watched every single game on Bowl TV, courtesy of Rob's login. So, Rob, thank you for that.
Shouldn't say that.
Thank you.
Fuck him.
Kayfabe.
It's okay. But no, it was not only, I personally have a shit ton of questions. I'm sure our viewers will also. But just for me, I kind of want to hear what's going on with you right now, because it's not like you're just bowling well. You are out bowling the classiest professionals to ever step in the limelight, and you're out averaging the best bowlers in the world by a nice large chunk amount of pins each time you go out there. And you almost make it look easy. And we obviously all know that it's not easy. What clicked? What have you been doing? What do you think is contributing to all of this recent astronomical success?
Don't say PEDs.
No, none of that. I don't know. I mean, I throw the best ball in the market, obviously. Purple Hammer. Can't beat it.
But you're doing nothing different, though? I mean, nothing clicked a month ago? Somebody saw something in your hitch and your swing, anything like that? Nothing?
As Johnny knows, I quit drinking 3.5 years ago. Since then, things have clicked majorly.
Hell yeah.
There's the start. I mean, it doesn't have to happen all at once, so that could have been the start of it. And
to say that I'm out bowling the best, I don't think that. They're just.
I know you don't think that, but numbers don't lie. So I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, put them series out there though. That was it. When you're shooting 830 to a 580 or a 620 or something like that, it's not like we are gonna shine a little ass here.
Those guys are really good.
Oh God, yeah,
really good.
You know what I notice, or at least what I'm observing, is you're a bit. First off, this is probably going to sound nuts to the average viewer, but to me, you actually look like you've tamed it down a little bit. You look like you're a little bit more. First off, your angles are way more in front of you. You seem to be not trying to create something that's not there because you have the ability to.
Yes,
you're almost an aggressive Parker, like. Not to mention you just bowled him, but what happens when I'm watching you is I see you up the lane, but you're also so good at changing your angles in the front part of the lane the minute that up the lane motion starts to go away and you start leaving, say, a bucket or like a shaker 10, like we saw a million at the Senior U.S. Open. You seem to have no issue understanding the migration path of the ball. And I know that people get skewed by the Purple Hammer and all this stuff, but let's be honest, guys. I subbed in league last night. I feel so bad for the kid I subbed for because I bowled 278 my first 2 games with a Purple Hammer. That's combined. And then I only bowled 170, 190 the back 2 games. So it's more than just the ball. It's your ability to see the lane and transition, at least from my observations of what you've been doing this season.
No, I agree. I talked to Ryan Schaefer a ton. Ryan and I talk about stuff, especially about angles and things of that magnitude. And then also with Brad Angelo, we talk a lot. Like I've attended Bowl U classes, and I'm planning on doing one this weekend. And he's helped me a tremendous amount with how I want the ball going through the fronts, with entry angle into the pocket and stuff like that. And back to your other point was, I thought that I could do steep angles at the Masters with ease compared to the Open, where I pulled out a weaker purple and went straighter with less hand. I thought it was less hand. Chris Barnes didn't think it was less hand, but I thought it was less hand.
It looked, like I said, it looked tamed down. And that was actually, it was really, really impressive to watch. And what's crazy about it is just the shot making and the execution is so good. And then to go out there and just capitalize on your effort back-to-back weeks is just, it's simply astonishing. It's amazing. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch. And I mean, do you have any thoughts right now heading into the rest of the season of possible player of the year contention?
No, I don't think like that. I mean, who wouldn't dream about that? But, I have to get my knee checked out. Ocho, any advice?
Yeah, this is actually a great time for you here, Och.
I got to jump right in. Well, I mean, that's a little vague question, but is it the plant knee? Is it the? Well,
oh yeah.
We'll do a diagnostics when we get the symptoms and whatnot. We don't want to. Don't worry, I'm not gonna. I'll bill your insurance. It'll be fine. We'll get it going.
So obviously, it was your knee and your thumb too, and another finger, right?
Thumb, no, it was a finger.
Oh, finger. Actually, okay.
I ripped the finger and shredded it in Vegas because it was so dry. Reno and Vegas just dried me out, and it was bleeding. It was bad.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've grown accustomed to living out here for over a decade. What's crazy is I never have hand trouble out here. When I go home to Jersey, forget it, it's over.
You swell up.
I swell up, I plump up, my skin gets all ratty, and just it's fucking gross, man. It's so weird that you come out here and the dryness affects you that bad. People say it all the time about how their lips get chapped and their nostrils get dry, and all of a sudden, meanwhile, I'm like, oh shit, this is the best, But it's where you are, I guess. Absolutely.
Acclimation.
Yes, we do finally have a great guest on here. Thank you, Dan. So I'm
a little nervous.
You're in good company to be nervous then, because we're all nuts and weird.
Yeah, we're all especially
this is a perfect.
Like good in that, then.
I'm the normal one. Let's put it to you that way. So.
Exactly. So we're screwed either way.
Yeah, Bold TV was really hyping up the fact that your knee was hurt and your hand was hurt, and they were really building the drama on the show.
I almost fell. I collapsed the one shot against Bill Watson, and I actually seriously thought about withdrawing as the leader. With 2 games to go, I had to take a minute. I told Bill, I said, I'm sorry, I got to take a minute. And I just put my head down. I was in so much pain.
Yeah, Dave Lamont was talking about that. But then that's mental,
too, because think about that. Now it's almost like stepping in water.
Yep.
And you're anticipating it's going to happen. So you don't just get up and just freewheel the next one. Now you're kind of like, all right, what's going to happen? Am I going to have to stop short and because my body's going to collapse, or this shock of pain is going to run up the back of my leg? Or
that was the first shot. The first shot was me walking up. Just throw it.
That's a hard thing to do too.
I know this is kind of hindsight, Troy, but before the stepladder finals, how nervous were you? I mean, I know you had one last week. You weren't nervous at all? No.
Nope.
You didn't look it. I have a follow-up question to that. When you were getting up in the 9th and 10th frame against Parker and you knew that you needed 2 marks, after the culmination of the entire week, you're sitting there with enough time to say, I need to mark in the 9th frame and the 10th frame. And then you get up there, and I forgot what you left in the 9th, but it didn't look like an easy spare. Was it double wood?
I almost split. I left the 4-7, almost 10, and the 10 fell out. I made that.
That was the 10th frame, right? You left the 4-7 on the left lane.
It was a 9th.
No, I know you left the 4-7 in the 10th, because it was the first 4-7 I saw you leave all week, and you made it on the right side. See, even you can't remember. This is great.
Well, I don't get stuck. I don't think about the moment. Actually, I don't. To me, the moment is setting up. When I'm on the approach, that's the moment. Like I just said to myself, this is the soft lane. Just you've been here all week. Let's go. And then after that, I just throw it and make the spare. I don't think about that. What I left, it's like, okay, there it is. Make it.
That's badass. That's the kind of shit that unless you're engaged in something, you can't fully understand it. So like we as bowlers, I'm always intrigued by every single bowler's mental path towards a situation like that. So again, if you don't have experience in something, it leads you to be a little bit ignorant to the situation. People that have never ever had to get up and knock all 10 pins down back to back to win their first career major in the sport that they've loved for their entire existence will never understand the power that has, the thrill that is engulfed in a moment like that. And
you watched that whole match, right, Johnny?
I watched the whole tournament.
You could tell that the right lane was tighter than the left lane.
Absolutely. Especially down lane.
Exactly, especially down lane. So I was really trying to not be aggressive and softer with that. I kept telling myself, just be softer, be softer, be softer. I really wasn't. That was the only thing I keyed in on. It was the softness on the. Oh,
you laughing at JD's comment?
Yeah.
The hardest head.
Meanwhile, I've been watching videos of JD at the high roller all day. It's all over Facebook. I love that epic first frame gutter, pal. That was fantastic.
He still didn't answer whose clothes he had on.
Yeah, no shit. So where is the next stop? You guys have a couple of weeks off?
I'm bowling with Ryan Schaefer in a regional in Middletown. Next Wednesday, Mid-County Lanes, where the national stop was.
Nice.
And then we're bowling the Bolero thing on the 8th, and then Hammonds is the 10th, I believe.
The Bolero thing, is that the League Bowler Championship thing?
Yeah.
Just saw the John Fury. Shout out to John Fury, by the way, for I think he shot the first 800 of the event.
I saw that.
Second.
I think
No, that's right. Matt Gasson, congrats on the first 300, and congrats to whoever the hell I just said for the first 800.
Fury.
Thank you, John Fury.
Do you want me to text him and say we just shouted him out on the show? Because he's
Yeah, you can. It's all right. Sounds good. He's probably busy as always.
he's
doing
at the pro
something.
shop. Yep, Wednesdays are his brutal night, supposedly. Even in the summer, though, come on.
Hey,
got that training center too.
be thankful that a bowling alley is still. We're hearing good things about.
True,
a bowling
very
alley
true,
rather than
very
fucking
true.
Closing.
No, that's
Very
true.
But we're the good things too. Like people kind of shut things down to come see us. Look, we got the champ here. Damn it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Absolutely.
Champ, were you worried about Parker kind of, taking the oil down on with his hammer as well, or were you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, if you read the article that the PBA put out, it was right on. My goal coming into the season is to be on top of Parker or left of Parker. He's the guy.
Right.
So last year I learned when I'm inside of Parker, I make him easier for him. I wall him up for him. I push the oil right to him and he can just hold it and just run over me like I was standing still.
Yeah.
So my goal was to be left of him, and I was left of him all week.
Yeah.
That's badass.
It's really hard rooting
it's hard
against.
to think that somebody like Troy is going to be left of Parker.
True.
It doesn't sound right, but it's obviously the winning elixir for sure. Sorry to cut you off there.
That's fine.
Well, they were all drilling. They were all drilling big balls. They were all drilling balls that would flip. And I wasn't drilling balls that would flip. I drilled a purple with a really long pin that would just tumble, and I could lock it up being left of them. Where if I pulled out my big ones, they wanted to go through the face and I couldn't control them as good. So I went with the weaker one and less hand.
So for the amateurs, you want it to basically, you want to stay to the left of him where the ball doesn't react too much, because this sounds very dirty the way everybody's putting it, by the way.
It's not dirty.
No, in a childish sense, but no, it's the way it makes sense to some people if there is amateurs here. So you're staying left of him. The ball isn't going to dive in. It's just going to kind of ease its way into the pocket, almost like as if it's
So the purples, Ocho, move
the
oil
urethane ones,
and take
right.
them down.
Yeah.
They pick it up and move it down. So if I'm moving it down, if I'm to the right of him, I'm moving it down.
And you're not putting his oil there. Or you are when you are to the right of him.
When I'm the right, I'm putting the oil where he can just pull it and it'll sit.
Right. If he tugs it like on a house shot, it'll just stay there and swim in the pocket.
Correct.
So if you're to his left, you're making sure that he's got okay, then you're dragging his own shot down a little bit, and then he might overhook a little at the end or
underhook it. Correct.
See, now this is the part that people have no idea about bowling, because you got to be a partial, like either chemist or a physics major, because
I'm out then.
but you still knew in the amount of throws you get that the ball's going to do that, and it's almost like having those 10 shots of practice and making it to where you're going to build yourself a shot. Like, people don't know that. That's the crazy thing about bowling, is like knowing how to position the oil for yourself later when people are just trying to hit the damn pocket for the most part, or amateurs, I should say.
My first show, I did that, Ocho. I just tried to make shots and see where I was going to play.
And then moved accordingly, but you got probably blasted out because everyone else was doing what you wanted to do.
But I lost to Jason. But I was exhausted that day. I mean, I think we had bowled 4 games that day.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was exhausted.
Wait, 24 games in one day?
Yes. The Villages was just forever.
Dude, think about the amount of bowling that the senior players have done in just the last 2 weeks between the Open and the Masters.
True. But usually it's 8 block. Was this a match thing or something? Because there's 8. I know the Villages too, because like I know your dad won that a couple of years ago, or maybe 10 years ago, like set like some crazy record for pinfall, and but might have gotten broken by now. Maybe
that was about 12 or 13 years ago.
I was way off.
It's okay.
But I do know, I don't know what match play really consists of. I'm the resident amateur, the house hack, as JP would say. So that's what it's amazing. Even to bowl an 8-game block, man, most people would be spent. So then to come in and have to throw 24, by
this one was nice.
Jocelyn.
This one was nice because we only had to bowl 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, and then step ladder. So That was kind of nice. But
So not all, but everybody did. Just the people who qualified.
only 24, yeah. But again, I think I bowled the most games in 2 weeks of everybody.
Yeah, no kidding.
Real quick to answer Tammy's question here.
Yeah.
Tammy, when we're talking about playing the lanes tight, we're talking about cutting down our angles, using more of the lane front to back rather than side to side. So for instance, let's say Justin is standing on 25 or 1 dot left of center. Playing it tight would mean he's going to cross about 15 to 17 at the arrows, but his break point, or the furthest point that the ball actually goes to the right, would be inside of, say, 8 or 9. So it's a very, very tight angle to the pocket where you're only covering a smaller surface of the lane. Whereas if you're not playing the lanes tight, if you're looping the lanes, if Justin were to stand on the same spot, 1 dot left of center, and swing the ball out to, say, the 2 board or the 3 board and watch that big rainbow type design, that's not playing them tight. That's not keeping the ball in front of you.
A visual would
definitely
be
not ideal.
like
the ball goes like this or it goes like this, I guess,
Exactly.
would be the visual.
Right.
And I like the other one, Ocho.
Right. You're the sweeper, the looper.
Oh, I like to hook them.
Yeah. So do I. It's why, but I haven't learned how to be good like Troy has. But anyway, that's the difference, Tammy. And when you watch most of the guys on tour, there are certain patterns that will change this fact, but most of the time the bowlers are trying to get the ball to around 8 or 9 board at 40 feet. So if you look at the Brunswick Pro lanes that have the rangefinders down lane, that outside rangefinder, they're trying to hit just to the outside of that in order for an ideal strike shot.
Tim Woodcock wants a house shot visual, Ocho.
Nice.
Straight up 5, man.
Yeah.
It's hard rooting against Parker because, he's all our favorite, right? I mean, like, we all love Parker.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. And
it's
to be able to bowl him for a championship, that had to be a special feeling.
It is. It's not the first time. He beat me the last time I bowled him. So,
what was the last time you guys met up?
There was a regional at Oxford Lanes, and he put it to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's Parker. I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. But
you gave him the receipt, basically.
Right.
Now you guys got to start over again.
But I'd have to say there was probably a lot more people pulling for you, Troy. I know we all were. And like I said, it's hard to root against Parker. But, when you're in it, it was a nail biter, dude. My ass was clenched the entire time.
Yours.
Yeah, right.
Rob just had Popeyes. That's why.
Here we go.
Parker.
Here we go.
You know as well as anybody, watching is a bigger heartache than actually doing it.
Oh.
I mean, I was on the phone with Stephanie, and we were I should find some of the text messages and then send you the conversation her and I were having in the last 4 frames. We were both figuring out either how not to cry or not to freak out or whatever the hell we were doing. I mean, everybody was behind you. And I agree with Rob. I mean, I'm sitting there watching one of my good friends, my old Nationals teammate, bowling against one of my not only childhood and still idols to this day, but another insanely close member of a family friend of mine as well. I mean, it was, but, I think Parker, now that it's over, I feel like even Parker wanted to see you win without giving it to you. I mean,
being the gentleman, I could see that too. Like he's such a sportsman that he's like, what a great moment almost.
100%.
He's this generation's Dick Weber. Dick was that guy.
Wow. Yeah.
Parker's that guy. He's just
100%.
You give me goosebumps just, because that's the kind of guy he is. He'll call me on a whim or, he's just an all-around great guy, period.
Yeah, he sure is. Always has been and always will be.
And the mustache, dude, like that was a game changer for him, man. That was
what's going on? I mean, he eliminated the stash. And then my dad,
he brought it back.
My dad, after having the mustache for
I love it.
Fucking years, he's like, well, I guess I'm going to grow a goatee now that I'm in my mid-70s. So I guess the
I think your dad looks good like that.
Yeah, everybody does. It's weird for me to look at my almost 80-year-old father with a goat. It's just funky to me.
Yeah, Parker bringing back the stash was fun. They were joking about it all night on Bowl TV.
They just kept saying stash.
Power of the stash.
Did it come in black or is it like gray now? At least
no, it's like salt and pepper. It's like it looks like a rub, like a mixture, like a salt pepper rub.
I just saw him. So our bowling ended a month ago now. So that was the last time I saw him. So damn it.
Yeah. It's
and it was never a thick one too. It was always like that little caterpillar gimmick.
Oh no, it was thick back in the day.
Back in the day, it was thicker.
Back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know if he can grow with that thick.
It wasn't thick like my dad's. He still
exactly. His was a flatter kind of thing, like not like Inspector Willoughby. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Really pulling him out.
I'm going to assume, Troy, that signing with Hammer was probably the best decision you ever made.
Yep. Got to thank Dave Walker on that one. He's a special guy. Love him.
Great to see him doing better after what
getting
he just
healthy.
went through.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. We've had a couple conversations when I saw him, and can't thank him enough.
When did you officially sign with Hammer, Troy?
Last year, I want to say July or August.
Oh wow!
I think it was. So
was it an easy move for you? I mean, I always remember you throwing Storm. Were you staffed with Storm?
I was not on staff, but I threw off Storm. I mean, that was the running joke. You know, I threw all Storm balls, and I had 3 purple hammers for all the urethane for short patterns.
Hey, you know what? That actually is a nice mixture right there when you think about it. But I was curious if, aside from the purple hammer, obviously it's contributing to a lot of the success that you're having. Yes, I get that. It contributes to a lot of people's success nowadays, regardless of what hand you throw it with, 2 hands, 1 hand, it don't matter. But my curious question is, as far as the variety of the other equipment within the 7 brands of Brunswick, do you find them comparable to your Storm products?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you like the motions more or less?
I had to go with shorter pins with our stuff, which is, I don't see, like, the longer pins on the Storm stuff work good, and the short pins on the Storm stuff work bad, which is just the opposite for me here. I got to use shorter pins, and they work really good. And then if I use longer pins, they want to go forward on me too soon. So I just do a lot of 4 3/4 to 4 inch pins, and I like they really roll good. I mean, that Widow 2.0 is just incredible. I mean, that's probably our hottest ball. It's really good.
Yeah, I never ever drill the ball that everybody's crazy about. So I will honestly say that I have not drilled my 2.0. But the truth of the matter is the real reason why, honestly, is I don't bowl much. And when I do, if it's not on a house shot or my once a week Tuesday night league, I never, ever throw resin. And if I do, and it's certainly never the first ball out of my bag when I do go to a tournament. But like, for instance, when I find resin pieces that I like, I tend to sit on them for a while. For instance, I'm still throwing that Defender Hybrid. That ball to me is one of the greatest balls I've ever drilled, and I still throw that frequently. But no, I want to drill the 2.0 because everybody makes it look like a magic piece. So it must be pretty good.
It's really good. The Ghost and the 2.0 are really good.
Well, you see, I loved my Ghost. I threw my Ghost for almost a year.
Well, if you like the Ghost, the Widow's I think, in my opinion, it's just a tad bit earlier and then a little stronger because the cover's a better cover. It's a stronger cover.
All right, I'll drill it 2.0.
Be a little earlier. Huh?
Damn it. Okay, I'll drill one. Fuck.
You gotta.
All right, I'll drill one.
Did you drill up a mindset yet, Johnny?
I did. It's a very good tournament ball. Mm-hmm. It's a great ball for lower rev guys or higher speed guys on a house shot. I have a high rev rate with medium ball speed, so it's never really necessarily the first ball out of my bag, but I do like my mindset. Yes, it's a nice ball.
Does it hook more than anything else? I'm sorry.
That's a term that's, I think.
Yep.
You can't.
I agree with you.
There is no such thing. You agree. You agree, and I'm not even saying anything yet.
I agree.
Well, the only reason I said that is because that's how it's being talked about and being promoted.
Yeah, here's what I mean by this. If you went into any standard THS, typical house shot in any bowling alley across the United States, and me being a left-hander, if I stood on 25 and I threw the ball to the gutter, it would hook back, right? I could throw it to the gutter standing on 25 with an Ocean Vibe, which is a very, very low-end symmetrical pearl, and then stand in the exact same spot with the brand new Storm Summit, just to throw another ball out there. And the Ocean Vibe will give the appearance that it is hooking more than the Summit. Now, anybody that knows bowling knows the Summit is the biggest hooking ball in the market. We've never had a core cover combo like this before. This is something you've never seen before. Get the fuck out of here. It's just like everything else. But the stronger a ball is, the closer it hooks to you, and it takes away the angularity of that motion. So the Summit on a typical house shot will look like a bag of no, I can't say that. Too much. It'll look like shit. It'll fart 30 feet down the lane, flatten out, and probably hit the pins extremely weakly. It'll look like a Walter Ray flat 10 most of the time. Whereas if you throw the Ocean Vibe, which on paper hooks way, way less than a Summit, and if you were on a tournament condition that was 45 feet, yes, it would. But on a house shot, no. That Ocean Vibe is going to turn exponentially harder further down the lane and give the appearance that it's hooking more than the Summit from the exact same spot. So
that's why it's hard to say what ball hooks.
Right.
Because exactly what you're bowling on.
How great that he used a Walter Ray Williams Jr., one of the greatest bowlers ever, as the bad shot.
Right.
as the bad leave. It's like,
that's all Walter does.
I've seen it. No, I get it. I've seen it roll out. I've seen it roll out, but it's still kind of funny that
I love when he gets mad at the flat 10. Like, he's really confused about it. Like, dude, you've left a million.
No.
You know it's gonna be there halfway down the lane. You know it's gonna be a flat.
Exactly. 10. You know you missed by a quarter board, and come on. But no, so that's the thing that's skewed about when people talk about balls that hook and balls that don't hook. Like, there was a period in time when bowling balls came out and you're like, holy shit, this thing hooks more than anything I've ever seen. Like, when the original Inferno came out, holy shit. When the Excalibur came out, holy shit. But it's not like that anymore. It's all dependent on what you're bowling on. Sorry, go ahead, Troy.
No, I was going to say another point. So I drove up another CUDA this week, and I had to move left of my purple with a resin ball.
Interesting.
Because it was weaker. The layout was weaker, so the ball was weaker. Not that the ball overall, because I could do a lot of things with it, but I had to move left off of a purple hammer. How many people have to do that?
True.
You got a purple hammer, you're moving the other direction.
Yeah, that's strange. That's weird.
Well, I know when the original Forest Green Quantum came out, I mean, to me, that thing hooked more than anything I ever had before. Like, it was a game-changing ball.
Absolutely. It was game-changing price point.
Yeah.
The ball came out.
That's true.
So that's another great example of another ball that it would have made more sense. Nowadays, with the way the game is now, Mike, fucking asshole.
You still owe me money.
Mike, please come back.
He still owes me money.
He owes me a frog. Actually, I owe him a frog. Long story.
He ate my frog.
What do we got next here? We have any questions in the chat? I can't see the chat, Rob.
You want me to pull it up? I want everybody to see Troy's beautiful face there. So, anybody have questions for Troy? You're in better shape than me, for Christ's sake.
Pop in.
So
are you still going no grips?
No, I use grips. I use vacuum grips.
You do use vacuum grips. I remember a period in time where you had the extreme oval cuts and the sharp fingers.
Excuse me. Absolutely. Sorry.
I was curious if you were still doing that or not.
I love that. I still would love that, but my hand doesn't take that stress anymore.
I understand.
Well, it looked like when you're in Vegas, I don't think it's going to do that either. The way it just sharded off there, like half your finger's gone. It looks like you got to get it. You have to get a new drilling rather than a new grip.
Yeah, I went up 2 sizes in grips just to be able to throw it.
I told my girlfriend that one time, but she didn't believe me.
Another legend in the house. What's up, Jeff Johannes and Ronnie Horton?
So is the finger going to be okay? I mean, give it a little bit of time off and yeah.
I put it in a ball.
I'm sure this isn't the first time that you've had hand trouble. I mean, the guy fell against fucking Bill Quarters, or what was his name? Bill Nichols. And he falls.
You called Bill Quarters, but his name was Nichols?
I forgot what his name was.
Come on, dude. Come on. Samsonite. Oh, my God.
I was way off.
Yeah, he was some exchange. I don't know. He was some dynamic of change for me.
So I guess I have a lot of more in-depth questions here because this is serious question here, because obviously the Purple Hammer thing is always, I think for the rest of bowling history, the Purple Hammer is going to be the most talked about bowling ball ever. I mean, even more so than the LT, even more than a Danger Zone, even more than I'm talking about. So you've gone from Sam's Town. I'm playing through the year here. You've gone from Sam's Town, which is an old school SPL or HPL lane service from AMF, and then you immediately flip to Greeley, Colorado, and you're bowling on Pro Lane. And you're in virtually the same zone on two different patterns, on two different lane surfaces. When I say virtually the same zone, I mean you weren't playing the first arrow one week and the fifth arrow the other week. Somewhere in the same realm of the two in the two events. And I guess go ahead, because you sound like you want to say something about that.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. I mean, I'm sort of in the same part of the lane. My visuals are different. My visuals were way different. One was trying to be real steep to the gutter, and the other was trying to be tumbly to the gutter. So my perception of how the ball was going through the lane was totally different, even though I'm the same.
100%. You're proving my point right now, because what I'm trying to say here is everybody tries to talk about, lefties throw the Purple Hammer, or the Purple Hammer is not really bowling. It is. It's just a different kind of bowling. It's making different moves. Like you said, I'm trying to launch it to the gutter. I'm trying to make it get chuggy to the gutter. I'm trying to change my launch angles. You're doing what people with urethane bowling balls do. Go back and watch any show from the late 80s or the early 90s.
Right.
Everybody is making similar moves to the way moves are made with urethane nowadays. And so the guys get pissed because they can't figure out a way to stop bowlers from bowling well anymore, because the ball is actually the only ball in the market that's more dominant than the oil that it's being thrown on. Well, leading back to my question, not more, but it can fuck with the oil enough. My question to you is, when you enter a tournament, is it always your benchmark to see what you're going to have? Is it always the first ball out of your bag, regardless of lane surface pattern?
No.
It's not.
No.
What is your thought process when you're entering a tournament and you're going into practice session? So tell us what the thought process is. Let's say
I take my first three balls. The purples are going in. They're always going in. Ryan Schaefer's convinced me of that. Out of my bag first, you mentioned it, Ocean Vibe, Cuda, and a Widow 2.0. It's typically first three balls out of my bag. I brought 9.
You brought 9 purples to the Masters?
No, I brought 9 balls to the Masters, but I drew.
Is there that many even variations of the Purple Hammer that you could do? I mean, I guess you can. But
if you ask the guys, I had 3 Purple Hammers this week. I was throwing the 5 and 5/8 pin, the 5-inch pin, and the 4 1/4-inch pin. All do 3 different things. So, yes.
So what do you start out? So you start out with your is there the go-to?
The go-to is the 5-inch pin.
Okay, there you go. And that's
the go-to
is the
5-inch.
Yeah.
It's a flipper. That's the ball. It's the one that wants to flip the most for me. All right. So the 5 and 5/8, it wants to tumble because it's further away. So it wants to tumble harder. And then my 4-inch, that wants to start up even earlier and then be more reactive down lane because it's closer to the
point with these urethanes, if if there's little head oil, that doesn't affect them then, or it does, or
well, now you're in a different conversation, but.
All right, I was just thinking of the urethane thing anyway, because that's been the whole thing. I mean, I guess the head oil doesn't really chop up too much lately then, because everyone's using the Purple Hammer.
I don't think, again, there's a variety of opinions. I don't think there's enough head oil. If you want to slow the Purple Hammer down, put more oil in the fronts. But they don't want to agree with that. But
are they trying to, or?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I guess true. They're starting to do measurements and all that stuff too. You're right. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, Troy, is there anything that they can do to try to, combat the success of the Purple Hammer?
Yes, but they don't do it. They want to do it. Put oil in the fronts. If the ball can't start like it's supposed to, or like it does,
that's true. It'll go 3/4 of the way before it starts to freaking do its break. Then that's a good point.
If you put more oil in the front, you take the purples out of play. I would gladly throw a resin ball. I would gladly
You
throw
and me
resin.
both, my friend. You and me both.
He's doing this hoping this show gets out, and then next thing you know, Troy's
next thing you know, he's gonna win with a
He's
CUDA.
gonna be like, I haven't used a purple hammer
I
in a
am.
year, and I have just won 10 tournaments, the PBA Senior 50th Player of the Year, and I got it. Right here on Straight Up 5.
Well, let's just in your opinion, Troy, like, why do you think they don't want to do that?
Are they in cahoots with the freaking the ball maker?
I guess the question is, what other can of worms does it open up? In other words, if you put way more head oil, do you then make the lanes way easier with the reactive resin equipment? Is it going to make?
Good question.
Like in other words, is now can Jesper Svensson, you, Jacob Buttriff, can you guys all throw resin and get the same motion? Because now, holy shit! Like if you can create the same motion with resin that you do with a purple hammer, now you have 10 times the hitting power.
Oh, I create more motion with resin. I can't control it half the time because
that's what I'm saying is with the extra head oil. Do you think that the reason they choose not to do it is because the scores would actually be?
No, I don't think that's their thoughts, but I would love to see it. I would love to be able to walk up and throw a widow.
Oh my God!
What's going to happen first? The more head oil, or are they just outlawing the purple hammer? I'm saying it kind of facetiously, but like,
you're right.
You don't get.
No, you're right.
You can't use them for the last 2 years. I think it's something like it's only the last 2 years of models are allowed in play, or.
I think you're right.
It's illegal. That's the thing.
See, all the hatred for purple hammers comes from people that don't throw purple hammers, from storm staffers and everybody else, because they don't have a ball that's that good. I mean, it's honestly, you know.
And Tony's comment's good too, but I still think if you want to change things, you got to put more on the fronts. Stop putting the speed bump down lane, put it in the fronts.
Right.
That's good.
You know,
wouldn't that mean you got to be more accurate too? I would assume, like, because you have to
swing it,
slide a little more, and then worry about the way the little more accurate down lane. I guess I'm probably reaching on this one. No.
Oh, I would love to throw it.
That makes you swing it more. You want to just put it out there and let the ball kind of do the work, basically.
I got no problem swinging it. I have no problem playing in the middle of the lane either. I don't.
We prefer it. We enjoy it. We are not like we are not Mike Scroggins lefties over here. We're not really. We're not really Parker lefties. We are.
It took me more work to learn how to be straighter than out than in.
I figured that.
Like how your dad was too, JP. I mean, he was shooting 300.
My dad but my dad is the same thought process as myself and Troy. My dad, when he was winning all of his titles playing the gutter, when he was playing out and going up the lane, he will flat out tell you, and he has told us, he had to learn how to do that.
He hated it.
He fucking hated it because his body and mind see the lane right to left. They don't see it this way.
Wants to face it. But
so when I got into bowling,
his 300 he was swinging the ball too.
When I got into bowling, like officially, like I told you, I was 10 years old when he bowled at 300. And I'm watching my dad not play the gutter. I'm watching my dad play the fourth arrow. And my entire life, I want to be against the ball return or in front of it. I want to be in there and hooking the whole thing because that's when I'm the most accurate. I can throw it the hardest. I can rely on friction, and it helps me open up. I hate going places and know that I have to go that way. Thank you, Dan Young. Perfect. Scott Devers. Could never, ever, ever in a million years do what Scott Devers did. It's
me neither. I use that reference all the time.
Tim Mack was my old sponsor, and he used to say to me, "It's a shame you're left-handed." Tim Mack said that to me, and I couldn't agree with him more because I pray, and I'm sure Troy feels the same way. I pray for the day that I can go out and bowl 190, play in the track area for a game, and then game 2, I get to play the fourth arrow and throw it to the ultra shim that's created on the right side of the lane.
Never happened.
Nobody's ever talk about that.
Let's explain the Scott Devers thing there, too, for the amateurs that might be in the room.
Scott Devers, fantastic bowler. He really, really was. Multiple title holder. If you guys want to pull up a video and watch him bowl, I suggest that you bring some sort of a chum bucket or barf bag and just put it right next to you because it's about the most revolting physical game I've ever seen.
Wow.
But he got the job. He got the job.
He had what, 3 titles? 4 titles?
Yeah, and he made a shitload of shows, man. I mean, he was very, very, very accurate player.
Dead
which
straight.
is absolutely amazing to me.
Is he like the
considering
Dave
way he throws the
Traber
ball.
kind, like that just freaking throws the...
Ocho, have you never seen Scott Devers throw a bowling ball?
I never heard of the guy, so no, I don't know. But I will look him up.
Rob?
I'm a personality. I'm not the bowler guy. I'm like I'm all over the place.
Ocho, everybody knows who he is.
Rob doesn't know who
yourself
Scott
a favor
Devers is.
and go watch. Go watch. Scott Devers.
Can I comment on the one comment?
Yeah,
Tony made
Show
this is
here,
your
Troy,
show,
of
man.
course, man.
Tony made the comment about people use more surface. There's a difference between using surface with resin than surface with urethane. So it would be a different breakdown pattern that it would happen on both sides if that occurred more often. That's the difference with that. You can use surface on resin better than I'm going to move it. Urethane picks it up and puts it down there. Resin, it's going to take it off and be done with it.
Right. That's a good point. It's a great point. I feel like, do you feel like they are trying to figure out ways to eliminate the purple hammer? Yeah, me too.
I think it's gone.
Yeah, they've certainly already enforced their limitations on what kind and what years and all that shit. So, but it's always going to be an ongoing subject. It's always going to be an ongoing subject.
It's not. The problem.
Yes.
There you go.
There he is as a right-hander.
And I'm
look at how
mirror
excellent.
image, so
Look at how
that is
now,
Traber.
now it looks better because he's right-handed, doesn't it?
God. Yeah, actually, his loop and his swing didn't look that bad just now.
Right.
I didn't see anything wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. He's really, really fun and pretty to watch. Just
Let's.
I have an undrilled red hammer, JD, by the way, in my closet.
A red hammer. Nice.
And I have a red rhino. It's not undrilled, but
really
a red rhino. And the biggest, and I always put black grips and everything, but that red rhino got yellow grips to match the logo because I'm.
I see you just gave GG3 a mega.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
So I was in college in Ohio with my buddy Matt, and Matt had just made this post one day. He was getting rid of this Omega, and he wanted a couple pieces for it, and I gladly said, absolutely, I'll do a trade for you. But I'm a softie when it comes to. I really like people that are into something. It doesn't matter what it is. It just so happens that I have the ability and privilege to get a lot more bowling stuff. I wish that I could get more Jay Cutler stuff or weightlifting stuff the way I do bowling stuff, because that's where my heart is and my passion is. But when I see people that are not only passionate about what they do, but it's everything else they do to make sure they can fulfill that passion. Like George, with all due respect, George is a bowler, but I don't have the passion to bring in a cart of bowling balls to bowl league. I don't have the passion to load and unload tape and make interchangeable thumbs and go bowl every single tournament and blow every single weekend of mine so I can go. I don't have that passion. George does. And when somebody like that says to me, even a story that, oh my God, I remember that, he's going to get way more pleasure out of that ball than I ever will. I'll put holes in it. I'll drill it. I'll bowl 190. I'll throw 2 messengers with it and say, this ball is not as good as it was 30 fucking years ago, and it's going to collect dust just like everything else of mine. So I'm glad that somebody that is passionate about bowling is now the owner of that bowling ball. So it's awesome. I want to read what Jeff wrote here. In my unprofessional opinion, accuracy is more important, especially for carry with the purple hammer or any urethane and resin ball. Jeff, you're exactly correct. Power, you have to strike. In other words, if you strike as much as, say, he has the last 2 weeks, or as much as Belmo or Anthony Simonson strikes, you don't really have to rely necessarily on pinpoint accuracy the way that you used to. Tell you the truth, half the time these guys, I don't even know if they're trying to hit the same spot twice every time. They're trying to get it to a zone that's fitting for the lane condition that they're on. But here's what accuracy does do. Accuracy wins titles, and there is a reason and leads tournaments. When you go back and watch Troy's victory at the Senior Open, I think Troy shot at less than 10 combinations that were under 8 pins for the entire duration of the tournament. Every time he left something, it was a 6-pin, a blower 10, a 7-pin, a double wood,
10,
a random bucket. he did throw one awesome. I think he left the 4-pin or whatever the fucking pin was. That video
turned into a 7.
But when you're reliant, when you are accurate, and you're guys like Walter Ray, who when you do miss, you get 9. You're always in contention. Absolutely. But the combination of accuracy and power, the more power you have, the more leeway you have with your accuracy. But I do still agree with the statement. And by the way, sorry for not saying hi to everybody in the chat. Joe Quinn, great to see you in here, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Brett, great to see you. Hi, Sherry, my doubles partner. Dan asked a question. I want to get to that too, because I'm actually curious about drilling the Cuda Pearl.
Oh, can't wait.
Can't wait for that one. Yeah, I love that it actually looks like the OG Cuda Curl.
Absolutely.
Cuda Pearl as well.
Cuda Curl. Let's ask some fun questions, Troy. Just for people that don't know a lot about you and just kind of get to know you a little bit better, because we know the PBA doesn't do a great job of doing that. But favorite foods?
Of course, Rob had to ask that question.
I go with steak.
Hey, John.
What was that, Troy? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Steak. Okay. Now, my wife likes it dead. How do you prefer yours?
Oh, bleeding. It can be mooing when I'm eating it.
I'm the same way. It doesn't. If I order I will never ever send a steak back, even if it's wrong. I'll eat it in any.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I keep telling, and she puts A1 on it. I'm like, do you even like the flavor of steak? Because clearly you don't.
Lemonade.
Favorite thing you do when you're Favorite thing you do when you're not bowling?
Another good buddy. Just hang out. I'm not really a kind of go out kind of guy anymore. I go out with those 2 knuckleheads over there to the bar, and I drink my lemonade and they drink.
I look, man, I commend you. And again, if you've experienced something in your life, it's easier to relate to it. I remember, Troy, you and I playing beer pong in Reno. And I remember at that time, you drank more than me.
I drank more than everybody.
And that, for me to say that, dude, is like, and I remember I think you lost your Pittsburgh Steelers hoodie that you loved.
Yeah, that guy stole it.
Yeah. And that had to be,
and he's
what,
a Steelers fan?
Nine years ago?
Shit.
Yeah, I'm a Steelers fan.
But to remember those times, and then because I quit drinking for about 2 years straight. I do recreationally drink now, but nowhere near what I used to. But I know what that journey is like. And I know how good it is once you get over the hump of the withdrawals and you really start to reassess your value in life. And it's a shame that alcohol really does a more mental, aside from the physical health that it destroys, but the mental health that it makes you second guess yourself and everything you do in life. And it's such a pleasure to watch you stay so steady, Eddie, so committed to what you're doing, so relaxed, so nonchalant, to be able to be out there with that much poise. It's truly a testament to what you've done for what you've done for yourself, and it does not go unnoticed. I just want to personally tell you how proud I am of you on that journey.
Thank you. I have a lot of friends that are the same. They say the same thing, and it is an accomplishment. It is an accomplishment, and it has contributed quite a bit.
John Sperone says, my liver's screaming. I haven't had a drink in 3 days. That's a long time for Sperone. Like,
dude, that's
3 days.
Yeah.
Mine left.
Dude, it got to a point with me. My only cure for drinking was to drink. And I'm sure other people have experienced that too. It doesn't matter how much time and water and Advil and food you get in your system. No. I still need 2 days to recover or keep drinking. It's the only way to feel sane, and that's just, it's just dead. It's deadly.
I never felt like that. Like, I never got hangovers.
God bless you.
And I could never get enough. I mean,
or you stayed drunk too. I mean, I'm just,
that could have been. I mean, God rest his soul. Mike used to look at me all the time and go, "We had this conversation yesterday." I'd go, "I don't know."
I've only because I've witnessed it. God's honest truth, but no, it was It was just the fact that that's what your body was so used to that it doesn't know anything else. But man, good on you. And let's have a little terrible towel twirl. But no one else.
That's right. There you go, Chuck.
At least somebody's here.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We have two big Steelers fans.
But that's what you threw me. This is why you keep me separated from the real guys, man. You didn't tell me. If I'd have known it was a Steeler fan, I would have stolen Rob's freaking login also.
Troy, what? Steeler fan since '72. Before the days.
You got it at the right time.
You say that because seriously, dude, how are you 55 and throw the ball like that? Jesus Christ, are you 55?
I was told I wouldn't make it past 25 throwing it like that.
It's true.
Yeah, they also told Belmonte that he would never do anything throwing the ball with two hands either.
Pretty good.
He's all right. He's not bad.
They also told Steve Jobs that he shouldn't start. Anyway, now we're getting off track.
So they said he shouldn't do LSD or crank or whatever he did. Even though he imagined the iPhone, and that's how we have the iPhone.
Yeah, he literally
half
the Beatles songs. For God's sake!
No, exactly. That's exactly right.
Troy, what was the point where you decided you wanted to stop drinking? Like with a certain moment, or you just got tired of it, or I mean, what kind of?
There's a bunch of things. I remember having a conversation. We're always in bowling centers, and there was this one gentleman was in a bowling center, and he was actually going to do rehab. And I just started talking to him one day, and I'm like, I have no idea why I drink anymore. I get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then some things changed.
That little tiny thrill for 10 seconds.
Yeah, and then it was like, all right, I'm done. Wake up call.
That.
Just flip the bottle cap and said, all right, screw it.
Wake up call. Got a wake up call, and that was it.
And thank God it wasn't anything. I don't want to say anything serious because it's not me to, say what you've gone in your life. But some people have a car crash or you know what I'm saying? Like they have a blackout where they don't remember something. And they're like, man, I gotta put that really wasn't what I meant. 'Cause I'm thinking of other people, honestly. But that's usually it's the wake up call, and sometimes the wake up call is just like, man, this sucks. This sucks.
You are exactly right, Och. What you just said.
So I look at things, Ocho, you're right, and John, and I look at things like it's February 22nd is my anniversary. It's the same as race March.
As much as I love your mouth, come back in the screen.
It's February 22nd, and
where's Tara when you need her?
Since I've not had a drink, I have 9 regional titles and now a national title.
What was it prior? I mean, just for statistical purposes.
None.
Oh, all right. Well,
0.
So
that's why a lot of guys are like, man, I wish Troy was on the tour, 25 years ago. It's like, people.
Or if they're like, man, Troy needs to start freaking getting on the bottle again because he's taking all our freaking wins away from us.
Yeah, watch out. They might start trying to buy.
Yeah, someone's going to be like, hey, here's your water, pal. And it's going to be freaking 2 shots of vodka in it. Here's that lemonade you wanted.
So you brought up Michael Marcus after the tournament, speaking on Bowl TV, and you obviously got emotional about it as
the first time.
Yeah, as we all have here on the show. I mean, he's been a big topic of the show as well over the last couple of years. I don't want to get anybody else emotional here, but I mean, obviously gone way too soon. But you did make the comment of, you brought his name up. Why did you bring his name up regarding this particular win?
He's the guy why he's the one I joined PBA. I mean, see, you get me flustered. I can't even speak now.
Trust me, it's okay.
Yeah.
I was bowling tournaments with him, and he's like, I'm bowling a regional. I'm like, yeah, no interest. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah. He would also always make you feel bad about it to a point that you had to go do it.
Oh yeah, he'd love to do that, and then
he was good at it.
And then I bowled the one, and I all but let it, and he's like, you got to join.
I mean, we're glad you did.
Yeah,
we joined.
The shout out to him was very, very special in the booth. I actually wrote on his Facebook wall.
I know.
Saying, I know you heard that one, pal, and that you did it.
But, and I'm not bullshitting you, and I'm telling you, I'm dead serious. You asked me early in the show what I said in the ninth frame, and it was, all right, Mike, we're here. Let's see what we got.
Fucking goosebumps, Jesus,
Yeah.
my God.
That's what we wanted to hear.
This is
That's
like
what
freaking,
everybody
this is
wanted
like
to
the
hear.
hair on the back of my neck, back of my
Literally,
mask
it's
standing
every
up.
single
Jesus.
hair on my body. And that just goes to show you that Mike
Holy
is still
shit.
here right now.
That is what I did on the ninth frame. And, you know.
That talk about being in the moment, though, too. Like, you're so aware. Like, that's so.
Well, that's how I calm myself down.
Yeah.
Oh, then someone was talking about that earlier, too. Like, you know, it's more stressful watching it from the TV, and you're over here, you know, with your own way to calm yourself down, which leads you to make that next shot. And that's what a champion has to do. And that's why we're sitting here doing a show every week, and you're on tour winning titles.
You know, you got a guys on the chiming in. You know, my friends called me the day he passed away, and I was working, and when I finally got back in the van, JD is the one that called me, and you know, almost wrecked the van because I didn't believe it, and you know, but it's just funny how our circle of friends is still together.
Yeah.
Because of Mike, and you know,
I'll never forget that day. I don't want to get too soppy either, but at that time I was working for William Hill, and my shift started at 5 a.m. So I'm up by 3 a.m. and I had gotten a call from Lindsay, and I'm like, first off, I just don't talk to Lindsay that often. And I had messaged her back and said, hey, you know, I'm sorry, it's super early. I'm just getting this message. And she immediately texted back that, oh, I'm still awake. And right then I knew. When I called her and got the news, I obviously did not work that day. I walked in and told my boss, but it was right around 4:30 or 5 a.m. my time, Vegas time, when I found out. And that was just, God, man, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
There was, you brought it up, Johnny. So, you know, yeah. I got the call, and I missed it from Frankie, and I'm like, Frankie doesn't call me at this. Frankie doesn't call me. What's going on? You know, that's when I knew there was a major problem. And then JD's message to me, and
we also love Stephanie for what she's done holding the Michael Marcus tournament for the last 2 years. Yeah. So I mean,
I will not miss it this year. I don't care when it is. I will be there this year.
The circumstances of who won it this past year was very, very cool as well. So it's almost like he's up there directing everything, honestly. And I wish I had the chance to meet him.
Shea winning it the first year, Michael was up there directing.
Yeah, you're right.
I had to bowl Shea way too early that year. That was the shame part of that one, but
Tim wants some funny Marcus stories. There's too many. I just always remember every time we were ordering food together that it was, I would actually laugh out loud. Like, he would always find places where you kind of go down the line like a Chipotle, and you have them make your food, or you order and you have to go to the drink station and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And every time that they would ask for his name, he would either say Gunther, and I would laugh out loud, or he would say Stanley with a C, and I would laugh out loud, and he would do it every fucking time. And half the time when he would say Stanley with a C, like, we'll be at Starbucks and it'll say Stanley, and like, it was a question where the C was going to be in Stanley. Is it going to start? Is it going to be somewhere like that made no sense?
That's really cool.
But no, that's, I mean,
not for nothing. Not for nothing.
Oh, he's I was actually going to say to you that I think he may have tipped that 10 pin over in the 10th frame.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I think he said, this 4-7's hard enough for your first title. We don't need this one. We don't need this one.
Especially on a bum knee.
Yeah. And you've already fallen, and you had to make Bill Nichols wait, and just your fingers all torn up and shit.
What exactly with your knee hurts, or just kind of let everybody know what side it's on, or
it's clearly a wear and tear issue if it's it's the right knee. Oh shit!
It's weird. Ocho, I had Lance Lorfield look at my knee for me. He's a chiropractor. It's funny. He's friends with my chiropractor because they went to school together.
That's cool. You never trust those guys, though. That's the problem.
I don't. I trust them.
I'm kidding. I'm a chiropractor. That's why.
I trust them. You know, and he started pulling on it. He said, "I don't have any damage. I'm just totally inflamed, and it's out of alignment." But the problem, and I can't remember the muscle that goes from my groin to my knee. I thought it started with an S.
The sartorius.
That's it. That's so inflamed. It's causing all my problems with my knee, apparently.
Well, so that's the only quad muscle that does cross the knee joint from the leg. So it could be, but is it on the inside or the outside?
There's this thing. It moves around.
Huh.
I took the knee sleeve off because it was hindering my kneecap and it was causing more pains.
Did the sleeve have the hole in the middle?
Yes.
It did. All right. Well, you did the right shoot. Damn it.
I cut that out. So,
and it just started out of nowhere, you're saying? Or
I won a regional 2 weeks before going out on tour. I was perfectly fine. I woke up that Monday to go to practice and my knee hurt. I was like, what the hell's going on?
And never issues in the past either, huh? No kidding. So that usually is inflammation too. I mean, obviously when it's something so sudden, but it could, I mean, if you start bowling more, now you're winning more, you're bowling more at tournaments. It could be that it's, there's a thing called chondromalacia patella. You could look it up.
Obviously.
Where your patella doesn't just set properly. It's
also a Nintendo game.
Yes.
It is. It's like Zelda. It's like the Legend of Patella. And we got the cheat code for it.
Up, down.
You get 30 guys when you sign up.
Johnny. Out of the blue. It's also a Nintendo game.
It said Contra. Give me unlimited lives, please.
So, but the other thing is, if it was chondromalacia patella, the sleeve with the little hole gimmick for the patella would have stabilized it a little bit, unless the sleeve was too small and like the hole was still compressing on it. So there might be, how'd I do? Billing your insurance anyway. I don't care.
I have to believe you because I've never heard those words. I know what the
I could have said anything. I could literally said like your anterior aspect of your
you were talking
is overwhelmed with the posterior.
You were saying the same thing Lance said.
Good.
So it's not damaged. She says there's no damage because he was pulling it, pushing it.
Especially if it's out of nowhere too. That's the other thing. Like if you don't have or the whole boy, this don't feel right. And then, usually it takes a long time to start feeling pain. If you just felt it, then something kind of happened there. Maybe there was not enough head oil. No, I'm just kidding. That was
never enough oil.
I know it, but you just inflamed. I don't want to say just inflamed. I'm not discounting your issue. But that's what it sounds like.
Mike Money has a very good question.
I was just going to say, from the coolest name in the chat, Mike Money wants to know if you still work.
He's a pro wrestler, isn't he?
I no longer work for the company I worked for 6 years.
Interesting.
And I'm gonna work in a bowling center when I get back.
Okay.
Cool. And I'm assuming that means you're bowling full time.
Oh, I am bowling full time.
That's okay. Great.
Well, he's got 9% a friggin' PBA title now. I mean, shit.
What made you decide
full time anyway?
What made you decide to quit?
Full time. I was having more success than I thought that I was going to have, and I thought I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah.
And
hold on.
Good for you.
Would normally happen. Like somebody knows how hard it is to do it, and then they're better than they thought they were. I'm really being honest because
let me explain my comment. If you read the article, if you read the PBA article.
Clearly I did not, sorry.
Rob didn't, but we all did.
So in the article it says, you always think you know how good you are until you go bowl against the best in the world.
Right.
And when you can keep up with the best in the world, again, periodically, not always, you're obviously a little better than you think you are. So things change. Not for nothing. I mean, we all think we're good. We're good at house shots and crap, but
So basically, you just decided that it was fucking time. You know what? You've been on the right path for 3.5 fucking years. It's now or never. You're still athletic at 55. You got time to do it. You may as well go maximize and see what you're capable of.
Did you think like
well, he's
let
a
me
local
give it
legend,
shot
obviously,
and not put the pressure on yourself. Like, well, let's see how it goes. Because I mean, some people, this is their livelihood. This is how they pay their bills. And did you say like, let me give it a shot. Let me see how I do. And just like treat it as like how it
no
because I was yesterday at series also. There's no way
I have extremely good friends, Nancy and Tim Pierce, Nancy Connor and Tim Pierce, and they always tried to push me out on tour. Back in 90, I believe it was.
Wow.
They wanted to put me out on tour.
And this was a long time coming, basically.
And life got in the way, like it does, and took different paths. Obviously, I just wasn't ready, I guess, God had other things in mind. So
right.
Destiny's destiny, or what have you, what do you want to call it?
I feel like this is like a Cinderella, it's a Cinderella story. I mean, it's
not a Cinderella story.
Really? Well, I know you're local legend. I mean, we all know that, but
it's like a it's like a circle of like events. It's like the coming to the crescendo, basically. Like it was there. The idea was there clearly. The talent was there clearly.
Yeah, but I clearly had problems. So I mean, I'm not.
But that's what I'm saying. So then you had to. That's why it's not straight up 5. You looped it like you do your bowling ball.
Right.
You went this long scenic route to get to where you are, rather than throwing it right up the 5 board and letting it walk in. Technically, I mean, so you had to. You got a lot of memories along the way, I bet.
Oh yeah.
And what you clearly are is humble. So right. I'll be the one to
we're dragging it out of you here too.
I'll just spit the facts. You maintain being humble. That's you. That's perfectly fine. But you not only went out and finished 1st and 3rd in a regional or a local tournament, you went out and you bowled the Masters. And the Masters is, in my eyes, the hardest tournament to win because you have to win the tournament so many times. What I mean by that is you have to qualify, and then you can't lose more than twice. And when you made it through in the winner's bracket after day 1 and then lost to Dan on day 2, guess what? You still had to win the tournament another fucking 8 times just to make TV, or 6 times, or however many times it was. So, and then you follow that up bowling 42 more games in a completely different building for another major, and you follow it up with a first. That is so Cinderella-esque that, like, I don't know, I think maybe Cinderella's story is wrong because it's not like you weren't expected to win. I definitely think you are expected to win.
Yeah, I didn't mean it by that. I'm just saying, like, doing it this late in his career, like, it's remarkable. I mean, there's people
this is the same person that's sitting here saying you don't really know how good you are until you go out there and compete against the best in the world, and then you learn that maybe you're a little bit better than you think. Well, a lot better than you think in this respect, especially now, because it's not like you went out and just had a good fucking run. You've been building up to this for over 3 years. This all started when you quit drinking. Whether it was in your mind then or not does not matter. This is the culmination of making the right decisions for a very long period of time, and now it's paying dividends. And it's okay to be humble and modest, but it's also sometimes important that you recognize that you are solely responsible for your success right now, and it's fucking badass.
Yeah, we're trying to say is it's not that easy, and you're that good, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Like when you thought you were like, well, I'll give it a whirl, let's see how it goes. You obviously are that good because it's definitely not that easy. And like you said before, you're competing with the top guys. This is the tour still. That we watch.
And the fact that you weren't nervous, though, like the fact you weren't nervous, in your own head you're that good. And it's cool to be humble. Like, we understand, like, we totally get that. But deep down, you can do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. Am I far off on that?
Troy, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Gush on. Come on.
Well, let me be honest with you. I'm not one to, I am humble. I try not to be.
Right. I love it.
If you watch any of the shows, I'm talking to the spectator as much as I'm bowling.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel that if they come out to watch me bowl, I've got to find out what they're doing.
And that's what makes you win too. I mean, that's your mindset. Maybe that's the relaxation. Maybe that's the distraction. Maybe that's what keeps you grounded. I mean, that's what. So every champion has their own niche too, which we've always said that they're very they're unique in the way that, like, we're just so, I don't want to say average. I don't mean it like that. Everybody's great in their own way. But like when someone's a champion, they have something. They have something that they're so committed to, and yet they still have something that keeps them so grounded in order to make them have that mindset.
Well, in my mind, I'm not anywhere near good enough to be with those guys, but that's just me. I mean, that's
understood.
And that's okay, because if you think that way and it's working, you go right ahead and think that way.
Yeah,
and
keep whipping their ass with that same
senior
mindset.
Titles, and then he's going to be like, nah, I don't know. And maybe that's it. But
Troy,
again, we're not trying to shine ass too much. We like you're obviously not you're not a braggadocious guy. I've
got great friends around me. Let me tell you, with support. I mean, I got my secret society group that's always got my back no matter what. You know, those guys, they're family. You know, I got my guys from Buffalo that I just rely on constantly. Because again, we're going to go back to the other one. My guy passed away. I called him all the time. We bounced everything off each other. You know, he was the rock that I could. Hey, Mike, what do you think about this layout? What do you think I should do with this? Hey, how should I approach this? What do you think? Da 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 da. You know, hey, Mike, let's go bowl this. Okay. I mean, he was that guy. You know, so it was hard replacing that guy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't even know if that's possible.
You can't. Yeah.
You're right. I mean, but I've been fortunate that I have people like Ryan Schaefer that I can call on a whim. You know, Ryan's a very supportive, funny, intelligent guy. We bounce things off each other all the time. You know,
I'll second that.
I now feel like that if I had to call Chris Barnes, I could call Chris Barnes and ask him things, because I roomed with him last week, and the guy's down to earth.
Yeah, he's cool.
He you know, so, and I could always call Parker, but I don't like to bother him because he's very busy, and I don't like to bother him.
Parker needs to be busy. He needs to be doing something at all hours of the day. I flew home last year, Troy.
Yeah.
And Parker was filling up pitchers of Coke for a birthday party in the training center in jeans and a t-shirt.
I love
it.
I'm sure.
You don't have to do this, you know?
It's funny to watch because he's usually there on
That's
my
what he
league
does.
night, and I'm like, man,
When he's got nothing to do, he finds some way to help
And then he's
somebody.
like, all right, I'm going to go give a lesson now at Rev Rates, and it's like, all right, man, I'll see him at Home Depot, and I'm like, man, what are you doing, cement work now? Jesus.
Yeah, he's just always doing something. He loves it. He lives for it.
Here, I'll tell you a quick story on the one comment Tommy just made. Another Mike story.
What's up, Beans? Didn't say hi to you earlier.
BB too. But I'll talk about Matthews. Mike and I and Tommy went down to the RPI down in Virginia one year. We had a 2-bedroom room, and I had to sleep with Tommy. I woke up with him spooning on me. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Those aren't 2 pillows.
He's such a good guy. He's such a good guy.
Oh God, yeah, he's the best, Tommy.
God, we had such a good time down there.
my
wait,
buddy.
so now you had a good time with them, but wait a second.
No, not like that.
All right. Otherwise,
I think I'm going to one up you here. I'm going to one up you, Troy. You know who my bunk buddy was in college bowling? You know who I got to share a bed with?
Oh wait, where'd you go to school again?
Morehead State.
Ooh,
I love that name.
That's a great name.
Mm-hmm. Our girls' chant was "We want Morehead." That's how they started every tournament. Fantastic.
If you didn't win every tournament, you're a disgrace.
My bunkmate for traveling bowling was David O'Sullivan.
Okay, big boy Dave.
Yeah. So imagine me and Dave in the same bed at like a Red Roof Inn.
No. I love Happy, but I'm not spooning with Happy.
Yeah, no shit.
Wasn't there enough blankets for somebody to take the floor at least? I mean, just on a whim, or like, was it all accidental?
I was bowling good. I wasn't sleeping on no floor.
Here's the thing. This is the stuff that people need to know on Straight Up 5. Like,
that's right.
Who you spooned with? Like, who'd you spoon with the night you won the tournament? Was that Barnes tickling you with his foot?
Nope, slept in my own air mattress.
All right, so there you go. Now that's difference too.
We laugh about it. I would give anything to go back to those sharing.
Oh God, in a heartbeat.
There was one day, you know, we all do stupid shit when we're younger, but me and Dave and I think our other 2 roommates in the other bed were Kyle Wogotsky and Ross Heinzman. I think or it was Scott Thornton and in the other bedroom or in the other bed. And we were at a Red Roof Inn that had a full sliding glass window that would open. It was on the second floor. And I remember every time I would shift, our headboard would bang against the wall. And now all the lights are out, and Dave just says to me, he says, "Keep going, John." He said something about thank you for playing with the headboard. And finally, after like 15 minutes, I get up and I punch the headboard, and the whole headboard lifts up on the wall like it's detached from the bed. I fucking chucked it out the window. I fucking threw it out the window.
Jesus.
That was about the dumbest thing I've ever done.
I don't know, man.
Really?
David helped me go back out and get it, and we had to walk through the hotel lobby and just please carry
That's
on.
fun. Explain yourself, like, don't mind me. Just, the headboard fell out the window.
Thank you.
Just need a headboard.
And Dave, yes, Phil Simms did go to Moorhead. I didn't graduate Moorhead. I just bowled there for 2 years, and then I transferred to Youngstown State and graduated there.
Mike Runk says, I didn't know spooning was on the table when we roomed together in Ohio.
I know. I was laughing at it.
That's great. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for being here. Yeah, get some rest, bro.
Appreciate it, Mark.
See you, brother.
Especially if you're on the East Coast, man.
Hey, we're
now.
We're still 56 strong here in the chat. I mean,
He's typically my doubles partner on a Thursday night in the summer, but I told him I couldn't bowl this year because I'm on tour. He was happy.
Now,
Don't worry.
Is he gonna expect a spoon session like before the the qualifier? Like, I mean, now you set it up. Obviously.
No.
All right. Just making sure.
Nope.
Can we play Spoon Man when you throw strikes now?
No.
So
I keep falling down.
If you didn't win another tournament, obviously you'd be disappointed. But would you be happy with what you've accomplished in this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, how can't you be?
Right.
At the Senior Open. Does it get any better than that?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
and it's such a small sample too. Like, that's just it. That's where like the unknown is even more fun than what's already been accomplished. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're just setting sail, man. I mean, just going statistically, going by that big hook you threw in life. It's like, hey, man, guess what? I'm just getting started now.
oh, don't get me wrong. I made tons of mistakes in my life.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're getting started now, as far as like here's where I'm on the right track and I'm heading for it. Like you're mowing
It's a smaller window, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
True.
I think what he's saying, Troy, is the opening
Like,
of
think
this
of what
season.
could happen now. Yes, yeah.
It opens the brain a little bit differently. Had you gone out there and finished last in both events, it's a different mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Going out there and now knowing every week I'm in contention. Even if I'm not in contention, I'm in contention. It's a different thought process. And it's awesome that it's happened so quickly for you, which is really, really exciting.
And maybe it took from 1990 to this big arc of yours to even get there, because you know what I'm saying? Like we always say the hindsight thing, like Rob said, but I mean, still, your life has a path, and mistakes don't break you; they shape you.
No, they shape you. No, I always say that.
That's why you're here where you're at, because
my dad taught me that. That's one thing my dad teaches.
Right, because if you don't learn from him, you're just going to keep making the same ones. And I don't want to say most of us are amateurs, but champions learn from them, and then they create the next chapter. And it seems like you're on the takeoff. Your landing isn't coming down anytime soon. I'm just saying that as a fan. So,
well, I appreciate it. I mean, that's
hell yeah.
It's hard, like I said, and I'm not exaggerating when I say these guys are good. They're freaking good.
The best in the world.
Yeah. We don't expect you to just knock them down every week, but like it's a wild scene that it was.
Speak for yourself, Ocho.
Well, but it was predicted by you.
We felt this coming, though.
Like, freaking destroy.
Yeah. No. Seriously, Ocho. Like we felt this coming. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like Johnny
after the Masters,
he's literally going to destroy these guys, and I'm like, wow, that's a pretty bold statement. Like there's freaking 100 and something awesome bowlers out there.
Yeah,
power, accuracy. Good physical condition, amazing physical condition at 55.
I'm fat.
No, I'm fat.
I just talked about that today.
Luckily you're in frame with 3 other people, so you're good.
Well, I mean,
about that.
I was going to ask Troy,
I don't have your cannons, but
well, yeah,
do okay for 55.
That's true.
The Ocho cannons.
They got
The
bowling
Ocho.
balls, man. They're only 8-pounders.
I was going to ask Troy, are you worried about too much success too fast, too soon, or are you worried that you set the bar too high?
Way too humble.
I've set goals. I had an interview with Nolan, and I said I told him one of my goals, and I have no problem telling him. My one goal is not to qualify for the RPI. I won it last year, and my goal is not to qualify for it.
Okay.
What that means is I have to finish in the top 10 points in the senior tour, not to be eligible to bowl the RPI.
That's badass.
Yeah.
That's my goal. I would love to defend my title at the RPI, but my goal was not to be eligible for it. I still want to win Player of the Year on the East Coast, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I don't want to be eligible for the RPI.
Yeah, if you're not eligible for the RPI, it means you're kicking
That
everybody.
means you already freaking beat the shit out of everybody.
That means that I'm doing quite well where I need to be.
Pretty much.
Well, it certainly seems like you're already on pace, and we'll be following you for the entire season. And definitely looking forward to some more victories here soon. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch so far.
I appreciate it. It's fun, you know.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's fun.
It's a feeling that nobody in this room has ever experienced.
I thought he was trying to say, like, he can't.
Troy, I have
That's
never won a
crazy.
PBA regional title. I have never won a PBA national title. My highest finish ever in a PBA event is 9th at the Plastic Ball Championship in 2011. That was probably the closest I ever felt to being great in my entire bowling career. I have never felt what it's like to throw one for the wheat for a national title, and neither do these guys.
I won a JBT. That's about it.
Yeah,
I've never won a JBT.
All right, well, I got you there. You can go back to JBTs.
I think my highest was. I think my highest was 4th. I lost to a rookie, Patrick Allen.
Oh, wow.
Never heard
I
of
think
him.
he was 14 when he beat me.
That's pretty awesome. I actually won
I
my.
guess that kind of goes with it, like losing it to him, right? Like it kind of almost like it's like, well, at least I didn't lose to a freaking schlub.
Right, at least you know who he is now.
Say that
Yeah.
again.
No, that's pretty cool. I won my only JBT with the Forest Green Quantum when it came out, so that was
Nice.
Very nice.
And I still have it.
Very
I still throw it. It's still a great ball.
God, I remember bowling with Russ Yappin JBTs. That was awesome. That was good shit.
Any questions here for Troy as we wrap it up here? We got about 2 or 3 minutes left. So let us know if you have anything.
Let's read some of the comments, Rob. There's some badass ones.
Ocho, if I want to read,
all over it.
I'd go back to. If I want to read, I'd go back to school.
I didn't know.
all his are funny. Beansy's seen me at one of his tournaments where I was a little past point of bowling, and I pretty much embarrassed myself. So he's seen bad stuff.
How long have you been bowling, Troy? Since you were a kid?
I think I was bowling at 8.
Nice. So that's a long
I joined a league at 12, but I was bowling. My mom and dad bowled in little bowling centers in Leola, and it was just I'd pick a ball up and go. Then I started watching TV. Then you start watching Pete Weber's big backswing, and you're like,
Right.
"Ooh, how would you do that? Ooh!"
Heck yeah. And then,
Short Oil came out.
Way higher than Pete's.
And then Short Oil came out, and my swing went past vertical. It was in front of me because I had to throw it so hard.
I mean, Kevin McCune hard, or what are we talking here?
Oh,
yeah.
I've thrown it over 30 when I was his age.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
He was up there trying to throw a 30. I didn't have a problem throwing a 30 at his age.
That's badass.
Dude, think about his athleticism at his age.
Oh, I know.
And then imagine that 30 years ago.
Right.
I mean, that's on. I don't even want to know what that was like. Thank God I wasn't around to watch him 30 years ago.
I'm a lefty. Yeah, I'm a lefty.
harder.
I'm a high backswing guy too. I always was, but I always threw too hard and didn't have enough revs. That was my problem. I was never a hand guy. But at what point did you realize, like, I think I'm pretty good at this. I'm gonna keep on doing it.
I think Chun Bay and I had a good conversation the other day about it. He said about picking talent. I think that back then it was more about, let's see how hard I can throw it and how hard I can hit it. And I just throw it all over the place. And then I tried to match up ball speed and rev rates better as I got older. And then things just kind of started falling into place a lot better. You know?
I love your swing.
See you there. Hope all is well.
I love your swing. I mean, I just love how your hand is just cocked and like this guy's gonna fucking crank it. Like you can just tell. I mean, I love your hand position, honestly.
What's amazing about it is how inverted or how high it gets and open, and he still has time to get his hand back under the ball and execute momentum forward. That's what's impressive about it. Most guys, like, go take a look at Jason Couch now. Jason Couch and Troy are similar in age.
Yep.
When you watch Jason Couch come down now, you can tell that physically, like, his lower half doesn't match his upper half the way that it used to. Like, younger Jason Couch could still be up there but still get under it. Now Jason's almost screwing it into the lane with a little bit of topspin, which is normally what you see from guys with astronomically high backswings. You don't see a lot of guys that have the ability to get the hand to reroute back underneath the bowling ball. So the fact that Troy can do that at his age is amazing.
Remember how Mike Reisner used to kind of like flip his hand up like that?
Oh, yeah.
Like that's kind of how.
That's another great example.
A guy slower and more deliberate, whereas doesn't pop it as much. He's a little,
but still got it in the right position.
But yeah, always like he'd have the front 11 and grab a house ball and be like, I wonder if I can throw another like 8300s with this ball. And next time you talk to Reisner, say, I'm not saying the word. I'm not saying it. It's called shank. I can't say the word, but he gave me the shanks on the golf course one time.
The yips?
And no, it's not a disease. And I swear I wish I never said that, but screw you, Mike Reisner. I'm going to play this bit for you.
There's my good friend. There he is right there. That's who I'm going to go work for.
Eric?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's a great guy.
As a kid, I saw him knock off the telescore screen off the hooks many times.
Speaking of which, real quick, I have to throw this in there because I feel like a dickhead for not already mentioning it. But congratulations to your girlfriend, Rob, for winning the Ladies U.S. Open, Brianna Cote.
Oh, she's so hot. I'm just saying.
Rob has a crush on the newest ladies major champion.
I do have a crush on her. I mean, she's fantastic. I mean, she
got a chance too.
You're not crazy. I had a crush on her when she was Brianna Caldwell, and we were friends when we were like 10 years ago. So that was.
Well, if you didn't get her, then obviously with the new name change, I don't. But I say don't be a quitter.
Yeah, don't ever give up, Johnny.
Sending her pictures. That's all.
Don't ever give up, Johnny.
That was an interesting match.
I'm good. You never give up. You never give up. Good shit.
Troy, we appreciate you being here, man.
I had a blast.
I know you're a regular on the show. You're always here in the chat, but I mean, it's cool to get on here and speak with you and actually, watch you win this week.
You invited me on,
dude. Anytime. Watching you win this week was special for all of us. I mean,
thank you.
Knowing you and knowing how you are, and it was just cool to watch. I can't. I'm going to get emotional just talking about it. But I mean, it was just.
Hold on, Troy. You've been here a while. You should have said "thank you" because you know how Rob says "thank you."
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I gotta break the emo stuff. That's all. We're still professionals.
Ocho, what's your Twitter handle?
There's Rudy.
Rudy Revs in the house. As we're wrapping up the show, a little bit late, Rudy, but
no idea.
Thanks for being here, brother.
That's a legend right there.
Yes, he is.
He can be as late as he wants.
And I grew up in New England, so Rudy Revs.
I do know that story.
Technically, was he talking
just saw
to me?
the picture of Rudy in the front seat.
Right now.
Good shit.
I do know that Pringle story. That's just all I know.
Well, now we got to have Troy on for on a one-off next time to find out what the Pringle story is. So
that's not me.
We got to get JD on the show because we've been trying to get him on for a year and a half now, and he still hasn't shown up. He keeps blowing me off. So
never let him drive a car, though. You know that, JD. Never let him drive.
I'm gonna drive then.
Don't let Rudy drive.
Well, thank God Uber's around now, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding.
But they can't get you there fast enough, though.
Get on the day before.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I want Revs on here. Revs, I'm going to reach out to you, but I would love to have the world hear some
Hey,
action.
what's this maybe? What is this maybe shit?
No, we definitely need him on because he was somebody I
Well,
looked.
maybe because he was maybe hoping that I would say I want Reds on
He's
this
doing
fucking
that.
show.
Maybe if you're worth it. Oh, come on.
He was somebody I looked up.
Wow.
He was somebody I looked up to, as a teen.
Yeah.
I don't think you can tell those stories, JD.
No, actually we could if we don't do it live on Facebook, because we do also the audio podcast, which Rob never plugs because he just doesn't do good as a host. But we do have an audio podcast that is unfiltered, unfettered, and super access that no one listens to,
and that hasn't
live on Facebook.
That hasn't been not live in the last 30 episodes. So,
however, we could start off the show with 10 minutes of story time of fun little cutesy stuff, and then say, by the way, we're going to get a little R-rated. Come on the R NC-17, whatever you want to call it.
Johnny had two F-bombs in the same sentence tonight.
Now we have a show. Now we have a bowling show.
That would be triple X without the sex.
See? Now we have a bowling show. Now we got something to talk about.
All right.
And what we'll see you guys in a month. We're going to have an only audio podcast on Straight Up 5 with Troy and JD, and it's going to be just them.
Story time.
No.
Story time with Troy and JD.
Sit back.
All right, we got plenty of people, man. We can get 5-6 people on here.
Welcome
Eight
to Deep Thoughts with JD Santalucci.
By Jack Handy.
Jack Handy, jeez.
I'm sure there's probably Handy's talked about in that story time, I bet.
All right. On that note,
we will run it.
Gentlemen, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Congrats, buddy.
Taking
Congrats,
time
really.
to spend with us, man, and congrats on an epic 2 performances, senior U.S. Open champion, and cannot wait to see what you do with the rest of the season, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightUp5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.